Okay, I'm back in my shop. It's Thursday night and it's time to make a video. Now, I got some rock at the Knapping. This is one of them. This was started by somebody else sampling this nodule, I guess. But this is a good candidate for what they call a Kerville knife here in Texas, which is, it's believed to be a hand axe, right? So it looks like it'll be straightforward, except there's a big dip in it right there. So I'm gonna have to be careful about how I develop the center line on this piece. I should probably start with the tip and then work my way in. That way I can align the tip with the center line, which is pretty much along this edge here. That one's all over the place on that side. Okay, so we got a little strategy already. I did look at it off camera a little bit. I was trying to decide what I'm going to do tonight. What I'm going to do. Let's see. I was going to nap some obsidian, but I usually wait till the last day of the week so I don't have glass everywhere all week. So I won't do obsidian yet. I got a bunch of glass too. Regular glass. What material is this? Nope. If you don't know what material this is, you're very new to Flintknapping. This is either a Georgetown or some variety of Edwards Plateau chert. It looks like Georgetown. We'll see. Oh yeah, Georgetown, which is a very nice material to nap. Some people, it's their favorite. Believe it or not, it's not my favorite. In fact, I don't really like it that much. But for something like this, I don't mind it, because I know I can do something with it. Why? Because it's thick and bulky, you know, and comparatively speaking, the hand axe is a thick, bulky item compared to the thin, delicate projectile points. So there's less chance of breakage on the video. Yeah. I've broken several Georgetown pieces on video, I think. I seem to remember at least 2 attempts with Georgetown that were not successful, or as successful as I wanted to be on video, because it can be unpredictable. It might have cracks, you know. This one looks pretty good. They don't look like they go very far in. If they do, they don't look like they go far. Alright, so did I line the tip? Okay, the tip seems to be alright. It needs to be refined a little bit, but that's good enough for now. It might be actually too thin. I'll probably lose some length on it. We got to reduce the rest of it. Hopefully this video won't take long, but sometimes it takes an hour to make it look like you did it in 15 minutes. Yeah, I got to make sure I have enough of this cortex back here to, you know, still feel comfortable. That was a risky flake, but oh well. It took a little bit too, it ran a little bit too high. I was supposed to go in lower. Let's see. I got a big old Abrader from my friend Don again. very, very thankful for these big coarse abraders that I don't know where else to get them from except from friends that have access to big old grinding stones, industrial grade grinding stones. Yeah, because this was a Gigantor grinding stone. This is half of what he gave me. I broke it exactly, well, not exactly, but I broke it in half after lots of attempts at smashing it. I eventually got it to break in half. And it's still huge. Yep. Okay. I gotta tiptoe to the tulips with this. I don't want to crunch it. Yeah, the platform is crunchy. Hold on. It's got to be strong enough to withstand this big hit that I'm going to hit it with. Let's see if it did it. Did it? Oh my goodness. A little bit too much did it. Is this still good? Still good. Yes? Kinda, sorta. It's gonna be a little bit lopsided. Yeah. I took a little too much off. It naps too good. Yep. Alrighty. Yeah, it naps too well. That was a nice flake. I can make something out of that. Yep. Something else. Not one of these. Did I ruin it? It was so beautiful, right? It still will look like one, just it won't be perfect. Yeah. I'll just grind it a little bit on that side. Yeah. All right. A little bit disappointing. A little bit. So we're not going for perfection. Or are we? Are we going for perfection? It leads to lots of heartache if you go for perfection. Maybe the guy who started chipping on this said, nah, it's going to be lopsided if I do it. Let's see if someone else can do it without making it lopsided. So I'm the guy that's supposed to make it not lopsided. But you know what? It don't matter. It'll still work. Yeah. What are these used for? I don't know, maybe to aggravate people. This is going to be a little bit aggravating. The good thing is it does nap well. That's the good part. The bad part is it's got steps all in it, so trying to get past those step fractures is not going to be a fun thing. I want to keep it as wide as possible up here because they look cool if they're wide up at the top. But I have to create some edges that I can shoot flakes in. I just don't see a good opportunity without losing a bunch of length. See, that's stopping me right there. Just get out the cheater tool. Everyone will say in unison, this channel has cheater tools, get out the cheater tool. Yeah. Do you guys say that? I know I say that. When do I get out the cheater tool? It's already 10 minutes, 34 seconds, and I haven't used a type of tool that's going to make it easier instead of doing it the hard way. Let's see if I can shoot a flake into there. Yes? No? Maybe I should put the cheater tool on that. I need to do something to get rid of some of this steppiness. Let's see. Oh yes, it's got to be in this box. See, I got smart and I put some of my stuff that gets lost in another box. So then I got to rummage through this one. But I don't have to rummage very long because voila, I have the cheater tool. All right. Let's see. Yes, very nice. Wait, turn it around. See how that works? For you guys that are new, you need to see how this works because it will change everything. You saw how I did that, right? It doesn't always come out that nicely, but sometimes it does, and when it does, you get to do the happy dance. Yep. What's the happy dance? Whatever dance makes you happy. That's the happy dance. Let's see. What if you're already happy before you do the happy dance? Then you can skip the happy dance if you want. But that's no fun. Okay, this is not working. Let's see. I don't want to hit it too hard because if that flake ends up traveling too far, it'll overshoot. There we go. It's a little bit flatter, so if I run a flake up into there, there's not as much mass to remove, so it tends to run easier. You know, the less mass to remove, the easier it runs. It also depends on the width of the flake. If it doesn't have to be as wide to run through that area, it requires less force. So I kind of made it a little bit easier for a narrow flake to go through there. That's important. It's an important thing to keep in mind is the width of the flake, not just the length of the flake. Should I do the cheater tool on this? Let's make sure it's not going to hit at this angle because that'll make it dive in. I want to hit kind of upward a little bit. No, I don't want to do that. Let's see. What does my years of experience in making these tools, these hand axes, tell me? It tells me I don't have years of experience making these. Yeah. This is what are you talking about? I don't have years of experience making these tools, so I can't draw on years of experience on this particular tool. I've just got to wing it. Okay, so some of you guys that know how to make these in 10 minutes might be cringing. Did it do it? I think it did it. I wanted to get past that step fracture, and it got right under it. That is the rock itself. Yeah. The rock is good enough that it can do that. Let's see if I can do it again, but A little more tricky following this kind of ridge here. It's kind of all squirrely, but it might work if I hit it somewhere in there. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. This is all beaten up from the Knapping. What Knapping, you might ask? What is a Knapping? Just go back, previous video. No, that was the auction. Before that, somewhere in there. And you ADHD guys like me, you'll go, auction? Let's watch the auction video first, and then we watch the Knapping video, and then we watch this video. Yeah, because it doesn't feel complete. You don't get the whole complete story. Now that I mentioned all these other videos. Yeah. Let's see if it did it. Let's do the thing. There it is. And voila. I can make an arrowhead out of this one. But this is what I'm really concerned about. Yeah. That even took off some of this mess. It even pushed up this way. Look at that. Not only was the ridge all squirrely, but it behaved itself here, but it also helped me a little bit by popping that off over there. I guess that's why some people like Georgetown. Flint. It's a true flint because it forms within chalk, although this feels like limestone. But it's all the chalk has been removed, so I guess that's what's left. It's just kind of a thin limestoney type of rind on it. Rind or cortex. See if it runs along flake. Oh yeah. This is working out well. Now, how did they make these in the past, you might ask? Someone's always wondering, how did they made these in the past? They didn't have aluminum. They did not have 5/8 aluminum and 1.5 or 1.25 plastic, high molecular weight plastic rods for their mallets. They didn't even probably hold the striker, the horizontal punch, or the indirect percussion tool behind their knee. What did they do? Nobody knows. Really, nobody knows. We can guess. We got guys that can make these out of only hammerstones. We got guys that can make these out of only billets. We got guys that can make these out of only indirect percussion punches. There's some guys that can make these out of or using a vertical punch. Depending on the size of the item. Some of these are kind of small, so you can use many techniques. The larger, bigger ones require big tools like big hammerstones and big billets and stuff. So it kind of limits your options. But some of these are not that large, so they can be made with almost any kind of tool or technique. Similar to the projectile point tools and techniques. Yeah. You can even use pressure on the edges. Pressure flaking to make it sharper if that's what they need. I don't know what these were used for other than the obvious cutting something. Someone say it is used for cutting. It's used for chop type cutting. Yeah, obviously, but chop type cutting on what? Your enemy's skull or the carcass of a bison, or what? Or maybe both, or maybe neither. Maybe these were select ceremonial knives. You know, special occasion ceremonial knives that were used to cut the mescal by midnight, you know, or some other plant, or by full moon. Not midnight, they don't have midnight. You know, harvest a certain thing by the light of moonlight. Ceremonially. Special knife. We don't know. Maybe all of the above. Maybe it's just general purpose thing that the culture, that particular culture made for all kinds of stuff. But it could also be for just one particular purpose. What would I use it for? I don't know if I would use this. There's too much power behind it with too thin of a tip. So I wouldn't chop with it because it immediately will snap off. I would be cutting, and delicately, because a lot of these have very delicate tips. Some of them don't. Some of them have very robust tips. But I've seen a lot with very thin tips. Yeah, which makes you wonder. I don't think they were chopping, especially not through bone or something like that. You know, separating cartilage, you know, getting in with the cartilage and separating bones along lines of cartilage. I still wouldn't do it that way because it requires a little bit of prying. Maybe accidental. If you accidentally get in between two bones, even though the cartilage is kind of soft, if you accidentally twist it or do this, it snaps the tip right off. So I wouldn't use it for separating bones. No. Not when you can use just an incidental flake like this. You know, and just chip on one end and get it sharp, and then just separate the bone with something that's not a fancy thing. I don't know. The rule is, for me, don't use something fancy don't use something fancy on something not fancy. A menial task like separating bones at the joint, or separating the carcass at the joint, that's a pretty utilitarian task. You can do that with anything that is sharp. You know, just a sharp flake can get in there. You know, just you get, as long as you cut the tendons from around it, you can just snap the cartilage, or even use a wooden wedge or something. I don't know. Something that won't snap if you start to pry it apart. I'm trying to get a nice clean flake across that, and I think I might have messed it up. Let me see. I think there was minimal flaking on these. So it didn't take them very long to make these, I don't think. 23 minutes. We're getting to the point where I need to wrap it up, because I do want to take a little bit more off of there, maybe. If it cooperates, so hopefully I get a good flake across. We shall see. That might be inconsistent material, and then we're in trouble. Let's see. I hit that super hard. Yeah, got into trouble. It scooped it. Yeah, I'm not going to go any further. That's good enough. Were they ground down on the edges? I think I have one of these, but it's crude. It's very crude, and it's not ground on the edges up here. But I did a little bit anyway because I'm going to go back and I'm going to clean up this stuff here. So I kind of ground that down a little bit. Let me thin the rest of it, and I'll just leave this like that. Yeah, I can't get to that without removing too much of the backed area of it. Yeah. I could try to run it up this way, but it could go zoop. So that's not a good idea. Yeah, that cleaned that up pretty good. Okay. I'll clean this edge up and regularize it. And then do a little bit of pressure flaking on the tip. There's a little crack right there. Some of these had really nice, very straight edges. Let's see. I just want to make it look nice and clean. I'm not too concerned about having it be perfectly straight. I just don't want to see a lot of persnickety little flakes. Why don't I want to see persnickety little flakes? Because it looks too modern. You might say, well, I thought you were not going to show us how to do it like they used to because of the fakes. Because of the fakes. Yeah. I just like the look of a bunch of bold flakes, okay? That's why. And it so happens that a lot of the artifacts have bunches of bold flakes by coincidence. It's a coincidence, okay? That's it. That's what it is. I like the way they look in the past by coincidence. Yep. I could finish this out with nothing but indirect percussion. How about that? But I used direct percussion a little bit, didn't I? So it's not a pure indirect percussion type tool so far. Yeah, I'm gonna use some pressure on this. Okay, just a little bit more. I gotta skin off this little cortex area. Try to make it look easy. So I don't want to take too much off the tip because then it'll get way too thin. Okay. See if it did it. It did it. All right. Fantastic. Yeah. See, that's one thing you don't want to have on this tool is a little sharp area. So I'm out of options. I can't get it I'm gonna have to just batter it and grind it down. Batter it like battering fried chicken? No, not that kind of batter. Like battering ram. I'm thinking about fried chicken right now. I just ate. I don't know why I'm already hungry. Probably because I was cheating on my diet recently. Too many carbs gives you cravings. I've been eating too many carbs. And when Halloween comes up in a few days or whatever it is, or whenever it is, I'm gonna eat more carbs. I can't stay away from the Reese's Pieces. Nope. Yeah, not too many persnickety flakes. But I am going to do the pressure flakes. So I guess that's kind of persnickety. Yeah. I am going to grind this part right here. This top area. This whole area right there. This area up here. And this whole top up here. Did they intentionally grind it? I think so. I think the ones that I've seen, it's pretty well ground and worn down. I don't think your hand can wear it down that much unless you've got sand in your hand. Maybe they were opening clams with these. Or oysters or mussels, right? I don't think so. Anything that requires you to pry it open, it'll snap at the tip off. You don't want that. You don't want anything sharp on this surface either. Let's use something that has a little bit more of a delicate touch because I don't want it to look all scratched up. There we go. I want it to look smoothed. Not scratched up like it was in a fight. Smoothed, so there's no cutting surfaces anywhere. This is nice on this side. There's nothing. Yeah. So you can hold it like that. If you're worried about your thumb getting ouchy on that side, hold it on that side. Besides, it works better as far as the angle goes. All right, if you want to use it as a knife. All right. Let's do the pressure flaking and then we're done. Let's start. We're going to do just a regularization of the edge. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit persnickety, but I think I can do a minimum of this. This is not a cut from earlier. This is a cactus. When I was picking up rocks, I went to a ranch and picked up some rocks. I reached down in my excitement and I got a big old cactus needle stuck in my finger. And I didn't realize that part of it was still in there until just before the video. So I yanked it out just before the video, but it's sore right now. Yeah, those cactus spines are not only itchy, but they break off. And when they break off, you can't really tell until it's too late. And it doesn't seem like it's in there because it's, well, I don't know if it's translucent or what, but it's hard to see the tip of the cactus spine. I think it is translucent. I could barely see it when I pulled it out. All I saw was the... All I saw was the back end of it. And when I pulled it out, it looked like just like a string. It didn't look like a solid object. Anyway. And then I dropped it and I couldn't find it. Otherwise, I'd show you. Yeah. So you guys want to see that kind of stuff. I know you do. Yep. Come on. It's a little crunchy because it's a little bit cortexy up there near the tip, but it makes it for a nice touch when it's got a different coloration near the tip. Yes? No? These were not pointy. They were a little bit rounded off. Yeah. Forgot. Yeah, they're a little bit rounded off, or a lot bit rounded off. I've seen at least one that had a lot of it, or the tip really rounded. And I've seen some that have good pressure flakes. But I'm not going to do any of the fancy pressure flaking. My finger is still... It's weird how sore it gets. Maybe it was getting infected. Anyway. I don't think these edges were really jagged. I just saw one. But I saw one that was made by a modern napper. He was more careful than I am being right now. So I can't compare it to the one I have. I have one of these that's huge and it's really wonky. I do have a smaller one, but I cannot remember what the edge looks like. I can't remember if it's straight or if it's wonky. I do have a smaller one that is you can tell it's one of these Kerville type knives, but it's I'll see if I can find it. I believe it's much shorter than this. And the edge, I can't remember. But anyway. Sharp enough. A little bit jaggedy. I could look in the book, right? Let's look in the book. See what the edges are doing in the book. Is it that good? Let's see the side view. I think they do actually have a side view of one of these. So, you know what? I am going to look in the book. Let's see. Before you ask, this is the book. The book. Yes, I have other the books, but they're in my storage unit in New Hampshire. All right. Why did I bring them up there? So that I can make videos with them up there. And I forgot to bring them back to Texas, where I am now. I forgot. Imagine that. Okay, so this is where the big stuff, the tools and that kind of stuff are. And I think it's in here somewhere in the back. You get to see a lot of this stuff that's probably a copyright infringement. Yeah. I don't see it. Let me see. They show the Guadalupe tool. Bristol bifaces. Am I in the right section? Chipstone tools. I thought it was in here. Someone said, no, it's in the front. Okay, let's look in the front. There's some stuff there. Yeah, there's some stuff up in the front. And there's a side view. A miracle. And there's some hafted scrapers and the hafted projectiles. Actual size. See? And cores. Clovis, blade core. One of them. Where is the... That's a clear fork. I don't know. We're going to have to postpone looking in the book for another time. I can't seem... I'm going through every page and I cannot seem to find... Oh, here it is. There it goes. Kerville bifaces. See how rounded that is? And they do have a side view. Yep. Mine is more pointed. I should probably make it more rounded, but I'm not. My side view is a little bit not as good as theirs. They got more of the roundishness on their end. All right. Okay, so that was my attempt. Someone asked me, I know someone asked me in the past to make one. I said, whenever I get a chance and find a good rock for that purpose, then I will do it. But I took off too much off one side because I wasn't aware of how well it would flake. That's my excuse. It still works though. Yep. Okay, that's it. We'll see you on the next video.